Hey beautiful people, and welcome back. A couple of things. In the process of you holding anyone liable, it will make that path of compelling performance a lot easier when you first make claim on the insurance policy. There are two major types of insurance policies that public actors will use. The first one is, in the past we went over the video regarding respondent superior, which basically merges the liability when it comes to the activity of the employee and the employer, whether the employee be the entity or the CEO itself, pertaining to the tort that was done against you. If you invoke respondent superior doctrine, then you must go after the public official bond itself. But regardless of whether you go after it or not, you must always go after the entity's bond itself. When you go after the entity's bond, what happens is it decreases their credit rating. Even if they deny it, it affects their commerce. It decreases their amount by whatever amount of claim you make. That is one jewel right there that is very subtle, but very, very important. But now the question is, how do you in fact make that claim? Merely sending an administrative process, merely sending letters after letters to them does not cut it. Since all laws are specific, commercial laws are also the same way. There are different sections of commercial law, and when it comes to making claims, your state common law have their own uniform commercial codes, and then other common laws that deals with making insurance claims. And when you read those specific parts of those common laws of the states, they will let you know the step-by-step process of how to make a claim. Simplify it all. How do you begin to make the claim? So you have your hands on the bonds now. What do you do with it? You see all these numbers, all these names. What do you do with it? It's called a notice of claim. That notice of claim, since all laws are specific, there is a very specific form that they have for that. There's a perception that people have where they say, don't fill out their forms because it puts you in their jurisdiction. The way you fill out the form is what puts you in their jurisdiction, not the mere act of filling the form out itself. It is not what you do. When it comes to things of this nature, it is how you do it. For any matter, everything in life, it is always how it is done. So how do you get your hands in that? The show is commercial law, which insurance claims and insurance policies are directly under. A claim adjuster is charged with evaluating an insurance claim to determine the insurance company's liability under the terms of its owner's policy. Liability. This is the key word here. I always say this. Liability compels performance. If you cannot demonstrate one way of liability, they will not do anything. Value also compares performance. But in this case, liability. An adjuster is the true chief financial officer of any given entity. Any other CFO that you see wearing a suit, smiling on a website or in a newspaper regarding a corporation or entity, that's just the public stuff. That man or woman actually has zero power to make any determination. You know who does when it comes to finance of an entity? The adjuster. And that is who you contact in their boots. And if you really want to do that right, these basics must be done. Plaintiff and defendant, capacity, public officers, real party and interest, an action, any action. Remember, these rules apply to things you do outside and inside that court venue. And you're first exhausting your due process with them first. And if you come right like this, they will see the chain effect, because all adjusters, by the way, are also lawyers. Another thing most people don't know. And if they're not lawyers, before they make their final claim or determine that final claim saying we accept or deny it, they have lawyers back there. Because one thing always happens after a claim is denied. They get sued. And their attorneys have to see the trail of what happened and how they're going to be liable. And as that attorney is looking at your game and your skills and how you're coming, they're going to have a foresight of how you're coming to see whether what you're doing in the private is going to be enforceable in the public, separate from other claims that you'll be making. And this is one of those criteria they'll be looking at: real party and interest. Designated in general, an action must be prosecuted in the name of the real party and interest. In this case, the action is making a claim. You cannot make a claim on the insurance policy if you're not a real party in interest. If you're coming as the ens legis, they're going to ignore you. They're going to treat you like that fly in your room in the summer, where you open the doors and the windows and you're saying, hey, just leave the room. Yet somehow this fly is just still buzzing around. You've opened the door, you've opened the windows, and you just want it to leave, but it's still just casually buzzing around. That feeling that you get, you just want a bug to just shoo away. That's exactly how they're going to treat you if you don't come in this capacity. That's exactly how 9 out of 10 people have been treated, because they're not coming in this capacity. What majority of the people eventually see is the after effect of them saying, oh, they're fraud, they're this, they're that. But if you go into a deep conversation with that man saying that they're fraud and that they're not doing what's right, you realize that they themselves are not doing what's right. They're coming in the wrong capacity, and they don't know how to prosecute. They don't know how to hold them by the balls. You are getting that. The action must be prosecuted in the name of the real party in interest. The following may sue in their own names without joining the person for whose benefit the action is brought. This is showing you the capacity of what gives you standing to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. The executor, administrator, guardian. You hear a lot of people use these words, but they're not showing you these basic things. And guess what? We're not leaving looking for this. We're not concerned with these first 3. This is what we need. Remember, I was speaking of an express trust earlier? A bailee. E, a trustee of an express trust. A trustee of an express trust, meaning now you're not the trustee. The complete video has been posted on the patient page. Take care. Best of luck.